Total Quality Housekeeping Custodian Education Internet Classroom presents The Art of Cleaning. This class is about washing and mopping excellence. Soil is the substance that reside where you don't want them. And there's three basic soils: water-soluble, binders, and particulate. A spot is a collection of soil that can be washed away. On the other hand, a stain may look like a spot, but it's a permanent change in the look of something, and it cannot be washed away. A stubborn spot sometimes gets assumed to be a stain because cleaning just doesn't seem to remove it. And what you will need is a TQH certified spotting agent to remove it. Water-soluble soils are either acidic or alkaline-based. Therefore, we need only two detergents for cleaning, an acidic and an alkaline detergent, to perform either of the washing tasks. Acidic detergents will wash away alkaline soils, such as hand soap residue, detergent residue, rust, mineral residue, salt and ice melter residue. Alkaline detergents will wash acidic soils, like earth you track in from outside, cola, beer, coffee, vinegar, most vegetables, fruits, flowers, and animal or human vomit. Detergents are made up of a multiple number of chemicals, and we call them raw materials. We try to make detergents as concentrated as you can so that it's easier to transport, less expensive to transport, and you mix very little with water to create a washing solution for all three of the soil types: water-soluble, binders, and particulate. When the washing solution is applied, each chemical in the detergent formulation has one or more tasks for which it is responsible. Now, water carries detergent chemicals to the soil. The detergent chemicals then break up the soil into micro pieces, which move into the detergent, then holds on to them and moves into the bubbles. You see bubbles in detergents, but there's many more that are microscopic you can't even see. And into those microscopic bubbles go microscopic soils. Water carries the detergent and the soil as it moves via a vacuum, a mop, or a wiping cloth. And ultimately, nature gets to recycle the soil. Now, how does a detergent deal with soil? First, it penetrates through the soil to the surface that you are cleaning. And then it ends the static charge in the soil to help stop the cling. There's static electricity in soil, and that acts like a magnet to cling to the surface. And then the other way soil is held is with the stickiness of the binder. So step two, you have to negate that static charge. And that's done by using detergents opposite to the type of soil. So you would use an acidic detergent to clean an alkaline soil. Now, water-soluble soils, those are soils dissolvable by water. They come pretty easily. And then there's chemicals in that detergent to break up the binders, to break up the grease, the oil, the animal fat. That's the stuff that sticks like glue. And the detergent chemicals chop that up, and we call that emulsification. Now, the particulate soils, they are sand, grit, pottery, glass, there's a few others. They get broken down into micro-sized pieces, or there might be micro-sized pieces in the soil. They get encapsulated in the detergent. And then if you're using an acidic detergent for cleaning, that acidity will chemically etch some of the particulate pieces. Not all of them, but it helps break them down so that the detergent can engulf them or encapsulate them. TQH certified detergents engulf the micro-sized particulate in other soils to ensure that everything ends up going down the drain into nature to be recycled for future use. Large particulates that just don't get broken down enough, they settle to the bottom of the bucket. And of course, you empty them into the drain, and then you rinse your mop bucket or the hand bucket that you're using. If hot water is used, the heat melts the binders, which then release the other soils. Because remember, the binder is like glue and it's holding on to soil. And when you start cleaning with hot water, you melt that binder and it releases the soil into the cleaning solution. As you see there, you've got the binders on top, they're floating, but the soil particles are actually in the solution under the binder. And that's not helpful. It's a perfect setting for left behind soil. What happens is, as the binders reattach to the cooler surface, then the soils begin to attach to the binders. TQH certified cold water detergents have made hot water cleaning old technology. Even when mixed in cold water, TQH certified detergents break up soil masses. And then the cold micro-sized binders were emulsified and broken down. They will not lose their grip on the soil that they were holding. And because it's cold water, the binders float, and the solution under those floating binders is clean water. There's no soil in it, and you don't leave a soil film on the surface you're cleaning. Only clean water is left touching the cleaned surface. The proof resides in the results. Dirt and cooking oil were mixed with water and put in this glass, and as you can see, we dumped it out. A lot of it adhered to the glass itself. When the glass was washed with a TQH certified cold water detergent, everything was removed from the glass, and as you can see, the glass was clean and there's no film on it. That's the proof of the pudding. And when you go to the floor, same floor, two different pictures. One on the left was using a neutral detergent. The one on the right was using a TQH certified detergent. Your major washing chemicals are the alkaline detergent, acetic detergent, a scratch-free cream cleanser, because there are certain situations, especially on stainless steel, when periodically, not every day, but periodically you would clean with the cream cleanser. TQH certification makes product selection easy, correct, safe, and lowest use cost. Here's how you can tell a detergent that's working. Mop wringer on the left, they're both the same mop wringer. It's just one was used with a neutral detergent, that's on the left, and then when that user switched to a TQH certified detergent, the one on the right is how that cleaned up. Same thing with the baseboard in this case. That was a filthy baseboard. When they switched to the TQH certified detergent, just the mop hitting that baseboard took the soil off. Eventually they went on to scrub the whole baseboard, but this is to show you that the detergent that works doesn't leave residue, as did the neutral detergent. Same thing goes for toilet bowls. Cleaning with a disinfectant toilet bowl cleaner on the left. On the right is cleaning with a bathroom detergent that's certified by TQH. I spoke about stainless steel earlier. The left is before, the right is after. Tells the whole story. What you do there is maybe once every month, 2 months, you clean it. You rub it out with the cream cleanser, and then every day you wash it with the bathroom cleaner. This is the drinking fountains. That's stainless steel, same thing. As you can see from the left picture to the right picture, just using the TQH certified bathroom cleaner every day. On the right, absolutely no residue. For floor washing, you want to remove soil and leave a residue-free surface. That's the objective of every custodian. The correct detergent, and you mix it with cold water. And when you mop a floor with it, you will get totally clean results in seconds. auto scrubbers, it works very, very well. When you're finished, there is no film on the floor, and the same goes for when you're mopping. That's the key to maintaining the gloss, to use a detergent that works in cold water and doesn't leave residue when you are finished with your process. TQH certified detergents work best for removing soil at the speed of auto scrubbers. In restrooms, showers, and drinking fountains, your bathroom detergent is key. And the TQH certified bathroom detergent will get you virtually 100% cleaning results every time. And remember, when you remove soil, you are removing germs. You don't have to kill them, just remove them. That tile is over 50 years old and you don't see a speck of soil on it. That's the kind of results you get with TQH certified bathroom cleaner. There's many tools that you can use in cleaning. You've got on the left, you've got power brushes, you've got cleaning with the foam gun where you foam a wall down. Then you've got all kinds of brushes. The key to it all is that you want to have tools that are high quality. The chemicals do the cleaning, but the tools make the cleaning go more quickly and get a better job done in less time than it would take if you tried to do it all by hand. In floor mopping, there's three major tools. You have the proportioning gun. You can have it in a hand form, or you can have the wall mounts. Either one, they measure perfectly so that you don't get any waste. It's not as much the waste sometimes, it's that if you overuse a detergent, it puts a higher workload in front of you because there's a challenge to get that detergent off the surface. Use a TQH certified detergent at the mixing levels on the label. Follow that and you'll have no problem. The thing is, a mop must be perfectly sized up with a wringer to ensure maximum liquid release from the mop. You can't have a mop that's too small so the wringer can't do a good job wringing, or can you have one that's too big and the wringer just can't quite get its arms around it. Gear-driven down press wringers deliver the best squeeze. You want a mop to have instant absorption, unrivaled liquid and soil capacity. This is so important. A mop is a very, very important tool when you're talking about mopping a floor. You can have a great detergent, but if the mop doesn't do its job properly, you're either working harder than you have to, taking longer to get the job done than you should, and you may not even get the results that you could achieve. A TQH certified wet mop will allow you to wring out solution much more easily than just any mop. Basically, the first squeeze will release over 50% of the liquid. The detergent, the mop, and the wringer, they must all perform well. If one of them doesn't perform well, performance is going to be jeopardized. Again, mopping success begins with the fiber quality of the mop. TQH rates mops for best liquid handling. Fibers are blended for maximum performance. The size of a mop may vary, but TQH certifies only the highest performing fiber blends. Blending of the fiber is so important. TQH tests a mop for its absorption speed, its holding capacity, and the ease and control of the liquid release. Here we're inserting a mop into water to show you just how quickly that mop absorbed the water. It's virtually instant. The speed at which a new mop absorbs liquid in the bucket is the speed at which it will pick up dirty water from the floor. Wet mopping is about spreading your detergent solution onto the floor, but you want to do it quickly, evenly, and not wastefully. If you drop the water all in one spot, that water has to be picked up. You want a mop that will spread in just enough water to break up the soil that's there. Any extra water is wasted because you're going to have to pick it up. It's a waste putting it down. It's going to be a waste of the extra time picking it up. And you'll end up with squeaky clean floors that dry in record time without a soil film. If you don't leave a soil film, you don't have soil to hold on the water, the floor is going to dry very quickly compared to if you leave a lot of soil film on the floor. Overwetting a floor forces more time to be given to picking up extra solution. TQH certified mops do reduce mopping time considerably. On grouted floors, you need to wet mop them. You have to get the solution to the grout. Restroom floors should be wet mopped once a day at least, and damp mopped as many times per day as the restroom usage dictates. A clean floor is safe and odor-free. Greasy floors should be wet mopped after each work period. For instance, a kitchen. If there's a lot of cooking going on, you have to wet mop that floor after, say, each 8-hour trick. That's so important because you want to get down into the grout to release any grease that's been tracked onto that floor so that food carts or anything going through that area doesn't pick up a grease residue and then spread it throughout the building. Rough floors require wet mopping and may also require vacuum pickup. Surface texturing is to make floors safer, but it's a little more challenging to clean, so a lot of times it's easier just to spread the solution and vacuum it up. So you place the mop in the solution, you spread the solution thoroughly, you wring out the mop well, and then you go and pick up the solution. You perform step 1 through 3 well until the job is completed. Change the mop water as soon as the bottom of the bucket cannot be seen. Now on greasy, grouted, or textured or rough floors, you need a squeegee tool that has 2 squeegee blades, as you see here. Because here you have grout, and that grout is lower than the tile. With 2 blades, you create a seal here. That seal forces the air to go over the grout, and then of course you'll pick up the solution from the grout much more thoroughly than if you had a single bladed squeegee. And of course when you have the textured surface as you do up here, same process. You want the double bladed squeegee, and what you want to do is just suck all of that cleaning solution off the floor. Damp mopping is not something you do where you have greasy floors. Do not take, for instance, in a restaurant or any place where you have grease in the building. You don't wring the mop out once and then mop from Maine to California. Damp mopping is for specific areas where you have light soil and want to pick it up, but the floor is mostly clean. Place the mop in the solution, wring out the mop well, and then mop where you need it. Don't do damp mopping in a bathroom continuously. Wet mop a bathroom, and the lesser used bathrooms, wet mop, say, 2 days out of 5 or 3 days out of 7. But in highly used bathrooms, you have to wet mop them every day, but once a day, and then you damp mop them any other time during that day. Return to the bucket, repeat the process until you're finished. If soil, grit, or film remain after damp mopping, you then switch to wet mopping. And you change the mop water as soon as the bottom of the bucket cannot be seen. How do you make flat mops work at their maximum capacity? It's very simple. The flat mop material has to be of the highest quality, and it has to be a very well blended string that is used in the manufacturing of that mop. The fibers that go into making up that mop are critical. A high performance detergent is a must, and then you can use either a charging bucket where you might have 20 mops in there and you have your mopping solution, or you can simply take a 5-gallon pail, mix up some mopping solution, put the flat mops in there, and as you need them, wring them out and go forward and use them. TQH certified detergents work best for removing soil at the speed of a passing mop. This is critical. When you're mopping with a flat mop, you want a detergent that can emulsify and break up that soil as quickly as you're moving. Flat mops, they work best on smooth floors that are routinely washed to prevent soil buildup. You don't use a flat mop in a bathroom. You don't use a flat mop in a high traffic area where there's a ton of dirt that's left there by the time someone gets to mop it. It's made for, as you see here, a classroom that gets done every day, and you can even substitute the flat mopping for the dust mopping. The only difference is in dust mopping, you push the dust mop forward. In flat mopping, you walk backwards, as you saw in the video. In classrooms, flat mops may be used effectively in place of dust mops to remove the grinding grit. TQH certified wet look floor finishes and detergents will help you achieve near perfect flat mopping results. The floor finish is important. It has to be hard. It has to be able to keep the soil on top of the surface and not allow that soil to embed itself. That way, the flat mopping process works. Just to show you before and after. How do you wash these mops? Wash the soil flat mops in a washing machine using cold water. Because the detergent used in the mopping of the floor was alkaline, wash those flat mops in the bathroom cleaner because it's acidic. Remember, you want to use the opposite of the pH. So if you've charged that mop with alkaline detergent, wash it with a bathroom cleaner because that's acidic. You air dry after washing. Do not tumble dry using heat. Heat will tend to melt those microfibers. It's very important that you're able to identify the soil's real source. In this picture here, it's a doorway to a fast food restaurant. The reason it's filthy is because the oil and the grease in the kitchen is being mopped with, say, a neutral detergent. It's not releasing all of that grease from the floor. It gets tracked into the rest of the restaurant where the customers sit and eat, and then out the door. What you see in that picture is not the problem. That's the symptom to the problem. Symptoms are not problems. Symptoms sound the problem alarm. That picture tells you that inside that building there is a problem. And the problem is the grease isn't being removed from the kitchen floor. The symptom is dirty grease being tracked through the dining area buildings and out onto the sidewalk. Symptoms can also be such things as food carts, like in hospitals or nursing homes. The food carts are hand trucks that get wheeled through the kitchen area. They get grease and other binders on the wheels, and then they track it onto the floors in the facility, carpets, and that really increases the custodial costs of that facility. There's many symptoms, but there's only one problem. Grease, oil, and animal fat is not being removed from the floors and kitchens, or it could be in an auto shop, meat processing area, etc. And causing the problems will be one or all of the detergent, the mop, remember we talked about the efficiency of the mop, the wringer, if it's not the right size or the right kind of wringer, and then the individual doing the work, if they haven't been trained or if they're not going through the steps as needed. All four of those can contribute to the problem. And then again, we talk about vacuuming up instead of trying to mop up. For ribbed, irregular, greasy, grouted, or textured floors, vacuuming will do a better job in half the time. Perfect bathroom cleaning in less time. You want to have more than one cloth or rag, whatever you want to call it, when you're cleaning. The wash rag should be separate from the rinse rag. There should be two. Using a separate cloth for rinsing will consume much less detergent. Why do you want to rinse out of that washcloth all of the detergent that you could use in the next sink? Wash with one cloth and you rinse with another. And then drying is optional. With TQH bathroom cleaner, you really don't have to dry because when that sink dries, there will be no afterfilm. The washing swab is very, very important, and you need a good one, as you see here, because that swab must stay together and that handle cannot just bend all over the place. So without a good swab, your efficiencies will drop tremendously. TQH certified detergents, cloths, and tools will minimize custodial cleaning time. Here's a quick recap. We talked about acetic or alkaline-based soils. Acetic soils are mostly from outside, earth, dirt, plant, vegetable residue. Alkaline soils you'll find mostly in restrooms and showers, soap scum, mineral deposit, rust. Alkaline detergents remove acetic soil. Acetic detergents remove alkaline soil. There's only 2 detergents you need in your cleaning program. Detergents clean and tools make cleaning easier. You don't go out and buy a bigger machine if you're not getting something clean. You have to find the chemical so that you can clean something by hand. As soon as the chemical proves itself, then you match up the machine to the chemical. Types of soil: water soluble. They're either going to be acetic or alkaline, and those are soils that will dissolve in water. Binders: grease, oil, animal fat. They don't dissolve in water. Particulates: sand, grit, paint dust. Hot versus cold water. Hot water, the binders melt and release their soil hold. Cold water, binders hold the soil load, but when they're broken up and turned into micro-sized pieces of binder holding onto micro-sized pieces of soil, everything floats. In hot water, remember, the binder may be floated in the water, but all of the soil stayed down under because it got released from that binder because of the hot water melting the binder. The warmer the water, the slower the process. Hot water often forces an added step of rinsing. Back 50 years ago, when custodians used to use alkaline detergents, but they had to be triggered with the heat from hot water, they would mop a floor with warm water, but then they had a second step. They followed up with a cold water, fresh water rinse step. So they washed and then they went back and rinsed with a different mop and a different solution, which was just plain clean cold water. The warmer the water, the slower the process. Hot water often forces an added step of rinsing. Years ago, they used to have mopping units that had 2 chambers, one for the warm water and the detergent and one for the cold water. Each chamber had its own mop, and the custodian would start out with the warm water detergent solution and mop it onto the floor, go back and pick it up, and then come back with cold water only. Whatever film was left on the floor was picked up in the cold water rinse step. If you use hot water with today's detergents, you may be forced into having to go back and rinse. That's the key to a TQH certified detergent. They work 100% in cold water, and if you have the right mop and the right wringer and you put your program together properly, you will end up doing the job in much less time, and you will get virtually 100% perfect results. Efficient practices on greasy floors using a double-bladed water vacuum tool for pickup saves up to half the time. It's simple. Mop the solution on. This is when you've got grout now. Mop your solution on and suck it up in a vacuum, you will have no problems. Of course, the blades have to be the double blade so you can create the seal on the floor so that the air will move everything out of the grout. Germs live in soil because germs are part of nature's recycling team. If you remove soil, you're removing germs. That's because germs cannot live outside of soil. Nature gives them the responsibility of breaking it all down so that it makes it back into the earth. If it's clean, it is sanitary. To protect a washed and rinsed surface from recontamination by landing airborne germs, you wash a surface well with a cold water detergent, you rinse it well with fresh cold water, and then if you want to protect that surface, for instance, disinfectants are not a holy water formulation that if you just throw it at dirt, it kills all the germs. That's not the way it works. The disinfectant is a protective system. For instance, in an operating room, after the operation, you wash everything down with a good detergent and you rinse with fresh water. If those surfaces are free of soil, there are no germs on those surfaces, but you have airborne germs landing. So you want to protect that surface. That's when you go and get a disinfectant detergent solution, mix it up, and you use clean tools to apply it, clean cloths, wear gloves, the whole thing, and you apply it to a clean surface so that when the water evaporates, there is a residue left behind in disinfectants that will then fight and take care of airborne germs that are landing. Disinfectant detergents are not to be used to remove soil. Each time a surface is used, the surface needs to be washed, rinsed, and retreated with the disinfectant solution after each usage. You're not distributing magic. Once that surface gets contaminated, there is no effect coming from that disinfectant solution because it's been contaminated. So disinfectants are for protective purposes against the surface that's been washed and rinsed clean. And always thoroughly read all parts of a disinfectant or sanitizing products container label. A healthy building has to be clean. It doesn't have to be sterile. You can have germs in a building. What you want to do is minimize the availability of germs by minimizing the presence of soil. So it goes back to good detergents, good equipment, and good practices. The little bit of airborne germs that land on surfaces, your immune system takes care of it. It's taking care of it anyway. You're breathing it in. You're dealing with it. So you don't have to have a sterile building. But you do have to be conscientious. Your goal is to minimize the presence of soil in that building. Thank you.